Hello everybody, in this lesson I will deal with trig equations specific solution. Now before I get to the actual sums that you can expect in the exam, I just need to explain something with you. The question says determine in which quadrant the terminal arm lies in if. And then I give you two scenarios. Now, this is very important because this is how you will pinpoint in which quadrant your terminal arm lies. Now, if you look at the first sketch here, sin A bigger than 0. And we have tan A bigger than 0. In other words, tan positive. Where is tan positive? In the first and the third quadrant. So now this is where you find your two stars. That is where your terminal arm will lie. If we go to the second one on the right here, sin B greater than 0 means where is sin positive? Sin is positive in the first and the second quadrant. And this you read as B is smaller than 360 and B is greater than 90. So that implies second, third and fourth quadrant. And then there where you find your two stars, this is where your terminal arm will lie. Now the third one here on the left at the bottom, cos C greater than 0. That means where is cos positive? Cos is positive in the first and the fourth quadrant. And then this one reads as C is an element 0 up to 180. That means first and second quadrant. Therefore, your terminal arm will lie in the first quadrant. The last one, cos alpha smaller than 0 means where is cos negative? Cos is negative in the second and the third quadrant. And sin alpha smaller than 0 means sin negative. Sin is negative in the third and the fourth quadrant. Therefore, your terminal arm will lie in the third quadrant. Now, this is very important information, and we're going to use this concept now in the actual sums. Solve for x where, and then I give you the interval, and this reads as x is smaller or equal than 360 degrees and x is greater or equal to 0 degrees. So this is just a fancy way of writing that your solution can lie in any of the four quadrants. And then I give you the equation sin x is equal to 0,814. Now, first of all, we make sure that we isolate sin x with the numbers and all on the right hand side. And now we're going to work out the reference or the acute angle. And then we will say with our calculator we use the shift button. So when you work out an angle, it's shift sin 0,814 close bracket equals, and then you get your acute angle or your reference angle, and then your reference angle is always an acute angle and it's always positive. Now we will decide in which quadrant we are working. Then we go back to the original sum and we will find that the sign there is a positive. And then you will go to your cast diagram and say, where is sin positive? Sin is positive in the first and the second quadrant. Quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. In the first quadrant, you will write on the left hand side, whatever the angle was is x equals, and then the solution in the first quadrant is the acute angle or the reference angle. But in the second quadrant, on the left hand side, it's the angle and it was x, so you write x equals. And then the rule for the second quadrant is 180 degrees minus the acute angle or the reference angle. Therefore, your other solution, x is 125,51 degrees. Solve for x where, and now that means in 4 quadrants, any of the 4, and then cos bracket x minus 31 degrees is equal to minus 0,669. Now, don't let the minus 31 walk across in this step, because on the left hand side there's angles and on the right hand side there's just numbers. So you keep that x minus 31 inside the bracket there, and you are going to work out the angle with your calculator. But when you work out the angle, you ignore the minus, because the reference acute angle is always positive. So you will say with your calculator, shift cos 0,669 close bracket. Can you see no minus equals? And then your acute angle or your reference angle is then positive 48,01 degrees. Now you will decide in which quadrant your solution lie. Therefore, you will go to the minus and you will discuss it as where is cos negative. Cos is negative in the second and the third quadrant. So quadrant 2, quadrant 3. Now, on the left hand side, the angle was x minus 31 degrees. So on the left hand side, you write x minus 31 degrees equals. And then the second quadrant, the rule is 180 degrees minus the acute angle. And you can substitute that one. Then you say 180 minus 48 is 131,99. And you can let the negative 31 walk across and it becomes plus 31. And when you add that, x is equal to 162,99 degrees. In the third quadrant, on the left hand side, there used to be x minus 31. So that's what you write on the left hand side. Equals, and then the third quadrant, the rule is 180 plus the acute angle. And then you add 180 plus 48,01 and it's 228,01. You let the negative 31 walk across, it becomes plus 31. Therefore, final answer, x is 259,01 degrees. In the next lesson, I will discuss a practice example on trig equations specific solution. Click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to the next lesson.